As a parent, we've got a responsibility to teach them to connect and to be there for people. Really?
Welcome, everybody, to Parent with Purpose. Today, we have a very exciting guest. She is actually an editor of a magazine in the UK. And as you can see from the flag behind her, she's very proud of the country that she's actually living in at the moment. But she does a parenting magazine that we really would love you to go and check out because there's so much information in there. And so today we're going to be talking to Monica about the magazine, her why, what she does, and what her passion is. So welcome, Monica.
Thank you so much. Hi, everybody in Canada.
Well, and it's actually, to be quite truthful with you, it ends up going out on lots of Facebook pages, and many of them are actually from the UK that actually...
Oh, wow. Yes. Well, equally, my magazine is London Mums Magazine, but it is seen a lot in North America. So,
well, I was one of them.
Interesting how the world goes. I am Italian. I settled in the UK 20 years ago, and London became my sort of city of choice, really. I embrace the London lifestyle. I feel like I'm a Londoner.
What is your drive that makes you do what you do for this parenting magazine?
I created this magazine 12 years ago when my son was born. It was initially only online. And it wasn't a magazine initially. It was really like a mom's network. There were many big websites. And what I didn't find, it was that kind of like local community feel. It didn't have to be community based, but like that nice little chit chat that you'd have with someone and exchange tips. And so I kind of thought, well, nobody provides me with all of this I want, and I'm going to create my network. And so I did. And the funny story was that the first emails I sent out through Google Pages, that's how the magazine was initially. It was more like a mom's network, pre-Facebook, pre-Twitter, because it wasn't as big back then. It was the origins of Twitter and Facebook when I started. So I kind of sent out a message through emails to people, to mums in my antenatal and postnatal groups, and said, oh, why don't we meet at the Victoria and Albert Museum with a pram? We're going to go and see some like Kylie Minogue dress exhibition all together. It was something, let's do this. And well, this email was kind of shared with a lot of people. So there were like 40 mums with prams. So the guard at the museum said, "Well, God, what is this? Is it National Pram Day?" Or it was like totally overwhelmed with the amount of mums with prams and slings, that coming, to the museum. It was totally overwhelmed. And I thought, oh my God, this is like, it's a real group of people, turning up. Then you can imagine that turned out to became bigger and bigger and bigger. So having this little gathering became a bit more sort of local, trying to organize local events and local meetings. It was a bit different, but I try to keep it always real. And I'm talking about pre-blogging times here. I'm talking about 2006, 2007. At the time, it was only emailing people, and there wasn't even Facebook at that time. I mean, there was, but it was early days, so people didn't create groups. So it was really very much like email-based. So you sent an email out, people respond, you respond individually, and then I decided to put Google pages on. So that's where like the first page was, on Google, simply. And then WordPress came along. And then a proper website. But then at some point, people said, oh, you know what? Why don't you put out like a little leaflet every now and then? So we have all our information there. And I said, all right, whoa, that's a challenge. It's like from online to kind of going offline. Because many moms said, oh, well, we don't always look online. We just, want to have. And this is also, again, smartphone. There you go. Then I thought, all right, let's do a magazine. So I had the very first magazine out there, and it looks very different from what it is now. It was pretty much like the website in print, as you can imagine, but with a few celebrities, good looking girls, moms, posh moms. We kind of come up with cool covers and cool sort of interviewees. We had Julia Roberts, Johnny Depp, Sophie Kinsella, Sally Phillips. We have Alicia Dixon, Amanda Holden, and you name them. And also from Desperate Housewives, we had Terry Hatcher, the Susan Delfino from Desperate Housewives.
Right.
You know what I mean,
Yes.
So I've actually interviewed all these people, Justin Timberlake and Hannah Kendrick in one issue together. Reese Witherspoon. I mean, to name a few. I mean, quite big names from North America. Great interview cover. It's actually a way to get the magazines picked up, But then again, interview a lot of moms, not regular moms or female entrepreneurs. And sometimes these are the best interviews, and the ones that come from the heart. And I try to always trigger some conversations that make, I want to know things that are beyond what it's out there already, but what's inside them, what makes them get out of bed in the morning. That's what I want to know. And I guess other people want too.
Well, that's actually what I'm asking you, I guess. So what makes you get out of bed and start this magazine and get it to have the followers that it has? Like, what is the passion for you?
Well, the passion for me has always been when I was a little girl and I was at school. This is really, true. It's a true story. I always said my grandpa, when everybody asks you the question, when you're 5, 6, just ask you the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I always said, I want to be a journalist. And they say, why do you want to be a journalist? I want to listen to stories. I want to, know people. Here you go. I actually fulfilled my dreams. But also, when I was at school, I was editing the school issue I created with a group of kids. It was about peace and then the origins of racism and how, the figures that fought racism. So Robert Kennedy, Martin Luther King. That was my passion. It still is. And I always said, I want to make a magazine, because it's a craft. It's a craft you have to grasp. I want to create a magazine that is only covering good stories. I don't want to write about the bad stories out there, the bad news. I don't care about that. That's enough in the world. I want to have good news. I know it's not popular because bad news make the headlines. But I don't care. I don't care about the money. I don't care about these, gossips. Or I want to write the stories that I want to read about. I want to have a good feel. I want to read a story that touches my heart. And this is what I still really gets me out of bed, making the world a better place. Honestly, this is my dream. And I think in my little world, I think I fulfilled my life dream. And sometimes I think, but it's still ongoing. And it's not like making the world a better place is never-ending goal, really. So it will get me out of bed.
So these interviews that you actually do with different people, do you talk to them about parenting, or are we just like, what are your topics about in your magazine?
I tend to interview parents, whether they are like big star like Julia Roberts. And we talked, when I interviewed Julia Roberts, I talked to her. I asked her about parenting, and then she gave me her version. She said, no matter what, trying to enjoy every moment of your life and make it really count. She was very passionate about saying, every moment of your life, don't waste time, like every single time you can hug your children. And she was in a film called this year, Wanderers, about a disfigured child, and she's the mother of that child. It's quite like a tough role, the mother of a child like that. And so she researched a lot, and she met a lot of people with parents and in children with that condition, parents of those children. And then she had the chance to really research those issues. And I asked her what, she could give some sort of advice she would give. And she said, I can't give advice because I'm not, but qualified, but I think I can say that what I've learned is that you really need to grasp every moment and make it positive. This is really what drives me, making every moment count of your life. And we're not here for a long time, if you think of it. So we gotta make it count for how long it is.
What is it people can expect when they actually go and look at your magazine?
We cover like issues like traveling with children, location, destinations in the world. I love traveling myself, so I always try to cover things that I love doing, and most people do too. I mean, so traveling with children sometimes can be quite difficult. So I've got one of my contributors, Rita Coburg. She's in Italy. She's based in Italy. Well, she's a globe trotting, but she's momentarily based in Italy. So she sent out like tips on how to travel with baby or going to Italy. Italy is a very nice country, and I love writing about my own country. I love writing about food, also because I'm writing books, which is like with a spin, like travel and family and cooking, so all together, and cultural stuff that comes from Italy, obviously. The host. But I also write about toys. I mean, I love toys. I'm, a big Barbie collector myself. Big kid still. So I write about toys, about baby essentials, or books. I love books. So things that really I love doing, things reading, playing, and traveling, and cooking, and parenting. Well, we've got, often we have experts coming along, like agony aunt columns, whether it's doctors or nannies or really psychologists, so people who have a certain expertise in or child safety. We have a first aid expert, Emma Hammett, First Aid for Life. She's a great expert who covers a lot in our magazines about first aid, because you can save lives, So first aid is a big thing in our website. Parenting, women's issues, women's health and depression there are a lot of women who suffer depression. Is a very untouchable condition. Is something that you can't really to diagnose it even, So things like that people are really interested in covering.
You also have a YouTube.
Yes, most interviews, if I can get them on YouTube, like the Julia Roberts, Johnny Depp, and others, I also put them on YouTube. Some people prefer the visual, or they read it and then they go online and also watch it, And I still produce the magazine, because the magazine actually is a little thing you can keep and read in bed, and it's an old-fashioned sort of tool, to good feel, good stories.
So production, like do you have a printing press there? Like how do you go about actually producing the magazine, and where?
Well, it's a proper magazine, so it goes with a designer. Designer is a very good friend of mine from forever. He knows what I want in terms of, he gets me, he gets what I want in terms of cover. He's upbeat, themes and topics. So he kind of comes up with funky ways of making the cover, and we just put to bed the winter issue. The Christmas issue is very bold and sparkly, and has Alicia Dixon, who is a pop star and TV presenter, on the cover, but also Andy Garcia and Paul Young. Andy Garcia and Paul Young in one issue. I mean, that gets me out of bed, Oh, I read Andy Garcia. Yes, pretty much. That's what gets me out
you
of
have
bed.
a magazine quarterly?
They are quarterly, yes, seasonally. Let's say winter is big because obviously it's Christmas. It's full of Christmas stuff. and that covers end of October to February. Well, end of February, we get the spring issue, and that goes up until May, early June. And then we've got the summer and autumn, because obviously the summer is a bit, less focused on staying indoors. We've got quarter issues.
What's the cost to these?
The magazines are totally and utterly free of charge. To make the world a better place, you've got to give it as a freebie. The best things come for free, honestly.
So I have one other question for you, because some of my audience is from North America. Do you ship to North America?
We don't ship to North America.
All right.
But the magazines are all online, downloadable as a PDF. And so they're all out there from the very first issue. They're all as a PDF on the website. You can actually read them on any device, and the magazine will actually be friendly for any kind of mobile device. So you can read it online or download it as you wish. It's totally and utterly free.
I love that. So is this a full-time job for you, or is this a part-time thing that you do?
It is definitely full-time.
Yes, okay, I figured.
Because the website is a daily. So we've got 50 plus active contributors online. So I'm managing also the website. The magazine is an added bonus and gets a lot of big stars in the magazine, the print magazine. They get also online.
So that was actually going to be my question. Is what we see online also what's in the magazine?
Not everything. What you see a lot more online. Online you get everything from also mums' blogs. It's like a blogger's hub with a lot of bloggers who don't want to have their own hassle. So they come to us and they create their own page and their own profile, and then keep blog, and then I kind of promote.
How do you incorporate a full-time job like this with being a parent? Like, how do you make parenting work when obviously this is as much of your baby as your baby is?
I created this job for myself to be flexible. In my best time of the day, like 1 o'clock in the morning, completely silent house, and writing my own stuff. And so, yes, I created this job for myself to be able to be a parent, as well as a woman still in a career that I love. I totally love it. It's my dream job. I dreamt that when I was a little girl, and when people say what's your dream, so I fulfilled my dream. This is my dream. I live it. I live my dream.
Right.
And maybe in the pipeline, I could say I've got other dreams. Certainly, I would like to make a film. I've got a few scripts and maybe short films first, and I've got a couple of books to publish. So this is still in the pipeline. So maybe more of that, bigger, and then or maybe a TV show even. Like we're talking about lifestyle, but the Italian way. I still think that I can educate a little bit of maybe the Nordic audiences to live a more chilled way of life and more caring, caring towards people who are next to you, your neighbors. People tend to go on social media and they make a big fuss about their lives on social media, but then they don't have a life. They just don't connect with people next door. This is, I find, really sad. So my life is more in the world than on social media.
You're raising a son.
Yes.
The world to be a better place for him as well.
Absolutely. That's my number one goal. Really.
Right.
Make it a better place.
Make it a better.
And it's better together with the people than on your own on the mobile phone.
I agree so wholeheartedly. And how do we do that in today's generation when literally all you ever see anybody doing is on a phone?
Oh, I think, as a parent, we've got a responsibility to teach them to connect and to be there for people. You don't need to be Christian or religious. So it's basically all the religions give the same values, be there, be grateful for what you have, be grateful for everything, be dream about your stuff and you'll achieve that. The world will connect with you if you are connected with the world. The more I'm connected with the world and with my neighbors or my friends and whoever needs, I think that really gives me satisfaction, gives them satisfaction. It makes us feel better, and it makes the world better, because if you create stronger communities, that's actually how I started this group. It became a magazine, but it's actually fundamentally a group of moms who want to share things and feel good about it, and feel good about being bad as a parent as well. We don't need to say, "Oh, I'm good, I'm good, I'm perfect," because we all have faulty parenting skills. He used to tell me when I was like preteen or teenager. He used to tell me, "Oh, being a parent is the toughest job of all." I mean, he had a really powered job, and a big personality and big job in Italy back then, and I didn't understand what he was meaning. I said, "I'm so easy," like, well, it turned out I wasn't. Now I get it. Only now I get what he wanted to tell me and say that. I thought, "What, you manage so many people. I mean, you're the biggest job ever, and you're telling me being a parent to me is the toughest job."
And the only reason why is because our children are our life. They mean everything to us. So we pour our heart and soul into who they are and what we want to teach them, etc. So when you do it as a job and you're getting a paycheck, the paycheck is your motive. When you're being a parent and there's no paycheck, I mean, you're doing this just simply because you love this child. It is the toughest job.
So I keep trying educating myself because the fundamental issue about being a parent is that it's a relentless job, that with relentless rhythm, and you have to dissolve your other self for your children. As simple as that. Like, I'm in a very sort of independent spirit. I'm a free spirit, always been, and being a parent for me means having a lot of restrictions, like the routines. Oh my God, the routines kill me. The routines are, so I've read like thousands of books on routines, and I still got a child who was completely, I mean, not prone to routines. But then again, he needed the routines to be a better child, so we were not meant to follow routines, but then he needed those to be. So I found this an extremely interesting topic, like the routines, and there are so many books, Gina Ford, and then there's another one, and I read like 4 or 5 books on this topic, how to put your child on a routine. I never managed to put him on a routine. I still can't, now he's 12, he doesn't want to go to bed at a decent time, and I still struggle. But I try. I go to parenting course myself all the time. I'm always learning. It's a never-ending learning curve, It's never-ending learning curve, which is, it makes you, feel good, but again, you make so many mistakes and you stumble on your mistakes and then move on. I've learned something, but then he's already moved on to another.
With parenting, I think the part of the problem with societies right now is that we do have almost set rules of how we think things should be done. If you're a free-spirited person, and obviously your son seems to be to some degree as well, then maybe routines aren't necessarily what is important for you. Maybe.
No, I've given up on the routines altogether. I mean, it took me 12 years to get that, but yeah, I think yes. Well, certain routines are important, like the children have to do their homework, have to be respectful of duty, and to deserve also some of the privileges of growing up. You earn the privileges of growing up if you do the things right. You do your homework, you are respectful, you do leave your parents a little bit of free space to do their own things. And sometimes, like, they want you for themselves all the time. When they want you, you have to be available. So sometimes I found that quite hard as a parent, to be always available, always on, switch on, switch off, never switch off, always on.
How did you handle that?
Sword fighting. I've written an article about that, women in fencing, and that you can let your steam out, competitive sports. That really gives me a kick, and that space also that I need to feel myself, get some me time.
Monica, it has been an absolute pleasure spending time with you today and visiting your country there a little bit and hearing about your passion and your heart. I can see your future involving helping the world be a better place in more than just parents' lives. And I hope to be able to watch that on your YouTube channel and all of that kind of stuff, and kind of see how you evolve into that, because being a parent is huge. My audience can attest to that. It is the toughest job out there. We talked about that, but it doesn't stop there. And I loved what you said, where you just needed to be you and do some things that are for yourself. And so I can so see your platform, your audience, and your topics going on to making the world a better place. And I'm going to be so excited to see that all happen. So thank you today for being here.
Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. And I look forward to hearing more about your book and your stories on our platform, on our across the pond. We can spread the word.
We're going to wrap this up today. We want to thank you for being here. And as always, we want to wish you an awesome day.